What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. I want to talk to you today about challenging yourself. But before I do that, I want to ask you, well, actually, let's cover the quote of the day. If you haven't been checking out the quote of the day on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, pretty much wherever the Daily Mastermind is, I encourage you to do it because these quotes are not just, I know we see a lot of quotes out there, but these are designed to really help you to remember to be inspired. Remember to, focus on what's most important. And so when you look at these quotes, they're going to help you every day to get that daily ritual in of staying inspired and motivated. So the quote today actually goes really well with my topic. And the quote is that we are limited not by our abilities, but by our vision. We're limited not by our abilities, but by our vision. And I don't think you think enough about what your vision is. I know I don't. And that vision is going to inspire you and drive you. But speaking of vision, when was the last time that you challenged yourself? I mean, really challenged yourself. And I'm not talking right now about, everyday life, because I know we can feel like everyday life is a challenge. You're dealing with work and relationships and communication and, inflation and the marketplace and your business. But at the end of the day, those things are just trials and tribulations you're going through in your life. What I'm talking about is specific intent. When was the last time you challenged yourself, if ever? Something very specific. It's important that when you challenge yourself, I think you have an objective and you're doing something specific. And one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is I decided recently to challenge myself, and I'm going through kind of a 21-day challenge to level up in every area of my life. I'll kind of talk to you about that in a minute. But we need to find ways to challenge ourselves. I think David Goggins put it best when he said most human beings only perform to about 40% of their potential. And so if you're in your life right now and you're wondering why you're not making progress, or you're wondering how you can have more in life, or you wonder why you are where you are in your life and you're not, bottom line, satisfied with your results, then I believe it's time to challenge yourself. I believe it's time to take a specific look at what you want to grow. So why do you want to challenge yourself? Let's talk about that for a second. The first is maybe you need to grow. Maybe you need some growth. And as human beings, we need to feel like we're growing and progressing, and maybe you're just feeling stagnant. The other thing that can happen is you may need a challenge so that you can feel like you can create some level of certainty in your life. Do you ever feel like sometimes life is just out of control? Like you don't control the marketplace, you don't control the expenses, you don't control your income, you can't control people around you. I know we'd like to control all those things. I know I would, but you can't. And so you may want some degree of certainty and or control in your life. And there's kind of two different things. Certainty is going to be created when you're on a path that you know is going the direction you want it to go. Control is something you can do. I know a lot of people feel like you're out of control right now, but there are things in your life that you can challenge yourself in that you control, like your eating or your workout routine or your daily rituals or certain activities in your business. There are things you can control, but maybe you have lost control of those. Maybe you're not in shape. Maybe you're having a hard time with your mindset. Maybe you're having a hard time with your schedule every day. It feels like you get up and you're just pulled every direction and you don't have any say in it. There are ways that you can create control and certainty in your life, and it's through challenging yourself in those areas. Another couple of things that I think are great reasons to challenge yourself is if you're looking to create more confidence in your life. Here's the thing. If you don't feel confident in your life and in your business, you could take one specific area of your life, like let's say fitness or eating, and create and challenge yourself to dial that in. The amount of confidence you're going to receive will blow your mind, because when you feel like you're accomplishing things, when you feel like you're growing, your confidence will go up. Confidence goes up with experience of, different situations in your life. And finally, one of the big reasons I like to challenge myself is structure. We talk about daily rituals, but maybe you're off your path right now. But when you create structure in your life, your structure is going to help you to be able to gain so much more clarity, vision, confidence, certainty in your life. So there are a lot of reasons in order to challenge yourself. But you need to ask yourself, what's the most important area to challenge yourself in? I think this is really important because I think a lot of us challenge ourselves in areas that we're good at. And I happen to personally believe that's not the place to challenge yourself. I think you need to challenge yourself in areas that you feel you need growth, or areas that you feel you have weakness in. In other words, you may find that you're struggling in an area. That's where you need to challenge yourself. Maybe you're not consistent going to work out. Maybe you're not consistent in your schedule at work or your business. Maybe you're not making enough contacts. Maybe you're not good at communication. Maybe you work on the wrong priorities. I would say you challenge yourself in the areas that you need to progress in. The other thing is, and this is a great indicator, if you don't feel like doing something, that's an area to challenge yourself in. You will always gain the most out of areas that you're uncomfortable in. And so if you don't want to get up and go to the gym in the morning, get up and go to the gym. You see that common theme. It's just because I do work out consistently, but I'm challenging myself in that area. But maybe you're having trouble in the evening with your daily rituals. Maybe you're having trouble with certain things in your business. Things you don't feel like getting to, challenge yourself. That's going to help you to push past that and break through new barriers. Now, what is a real challenge? In my opinion, okay, this is just my personal experience in the past. I always like to set a goal of some kind and then challenge myself to get there. It's also important that you create a timeline and that you're very specific. A challenge isn't good if you're like, hey, I'm just going to go start doing this stuff today. That's not a challenge. A challenge is setting some milestones and goals, creating a timeline, and being very specific about what you're doing. And in order to really have an effective challenge, I believe you need to make some commitments. And those commitments might be things like the amount of time, resources, money, focus, whatever it is, commitments. And I also believe you need to make some sacrifices. You know, Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich that you've got to be able to identify the things you're willing to give up in order to gain in the areas that you're creating, a path in. And I think the last thing I would mention is it's also maybe a couple more things. It's super important for you to identify what you're doing. So many of us keep our challenges and things internal, and then we don't have any accountability. And having that external accountability is super important. That's why you see a lot of challenges right now are more public facing. Now you're looking for the internal growth and next level, but it helps you to have that external accountability. And so when you identify the fact you're doing a challenge, that will help you. And then finally, I think a challenge deserves a reward. And so it's always important to motivate yourself through reward. So when you set up this goal and timeline of a challenge, what I would say is, come up with a reward. So I'm leaving this a little bit vague right now because at the end of the day, even though we've got specifics here, I want you to take a minute this week and I want you to sit down and I want you to identify an area that you need growth in, or you desire growth in, or you need some progress in, or you need to go next level in. That's the area. I'd like you to consider a challenge. Do whatever you feel pushes you past your comfort zone. There are a lot of challenges out there like 75 hard and 21 and 48 and, 1 year challenges. I just recommend you set some specific goal and timeline and get to that milestone and push yourself even further. But I'm saying push yourself past what you normally would. Now, myself personally, just to give you an idea, I've decided to do a 21-day challenge. And this challenge is going to be level up my fitness level. Now, I've always been pretty consistent in the gym, but there's a reason that I'm choosing this. And I want to give you this feedback because it might help you to get some ideas on yourself. The reason I decided to level up my fitness, even though I'm in the middle of really launching and expanding my business, and I just had a couple of partnerships and acquisitions, I chose fitness for a very specific reason. Many of us overwhelm ourselves with too many things, especially high achievers. We try to do everything all the time. And it's not to say I'm not going to be working on all that, but I needed to find the one domino, the one thing that would, if I did it, affect everything else. And getting up in the morning and working out was my number one domino, the number one thing, the big domino that's going to knock all the other ones down. Because when I get up in the morning and I work out, I always find I have more energy, I have more clarity, I have more certainty with what my schedule is going to be. I'm on track, I'm not behind. And also fitness for me adds to my confidence. It adds to my ability to feel like I'm doing and I'm in control and certainty of what I'm doing in my life despite all the uncertainty that's out there. So it's an excellent way for me to create certainty. The other thing it does is it gives me a lot of structure for my business, because when I work out, I'm very focused on my workout, but I'm also listening to podcasts. I'm also growing. I'm getting great ideas. Do you ever feel like when you're working out or like even taking a shower, you're getting all these ideas? Those are some of the best times you can get ideas. So I recommend, so that's what I'm going to do for the next 21 days. In fact, if you go over to, my Facebook or Instagram page, in fact, I'll push these over onto the Daily Mastermind pages as well. I'll start to post a little bit more raw, a little bit more authentic, more day-to-day life stuff. And I'm doing that because I want you, and let's be really clear here, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm doing it for me, but it's that accountability factor. It's that thing that you want to add to your mix that will give you a little bit of pressure to be able to perform and stay consistent. And that's the kind of thing everybody needs. So that's my message for today. I want to challenge you to create an area of your life that you can level up through a challenge. And if you have any questions, hit me up on the Daily Mastermind on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or go into the show notes. You can see my email address. It's george@g3worldwide.com. I'd love to hear what you feel is a challenge area for you and what I can do to support you. I have people hit me up all the time. I love communicating with our community. And one last ask, I'd ask that you'd share this show. If you've gotten any kind of ideas out of this that'll help you, I don't do sponsors. I don't have any of that going on with my show. I ask that you share it, and it'd mean the world to me, and I'd appreciate it very much. So anyway, have an amazing day. I'll look forward to talking with you more tomorrow. Once again, my name is George Wright III. This has been the Daily Mastermind. Have a great day.